Hi, what's up? It's Three Colored Dudes. It's Hot Chili here with my man Mo.
And large medium.
The day is Thursday, August 17th, and let's get right started. We're going to talk about everything going on in Charlottesville. Let's start off with the only black man in this crew.
Like me. Well, honestly, it's not surprising that these events are happening, but it's still
You think
appalling. Well, I think it's with the way Trump America's going that all of this white power bullshit is still festering and building because of all the hype he put into it in this presidency, and now it's kind of started to unfurl over the United States, and that's just what's happening in Charlottesville. Like, it's just another part of the warpath that white supremacy is going on now that Trump is.
I was thinking about it, and I have a lot of friends who said that, particularly like my white friends who are more on the conservative end, they're like, racism wasn't a thing before Obama. It blows my mind, right? That they're like, we weren't having, quote unquote, these racial problems, unquote, that we were having today before like Obama's period, and it just made me think that like, so the idea is Obama came into office, and then we started having racial issues, and then half of America becomes like on one end, and the other half comes on the other end.
The biggest thing that I'm thinking about with that is that just like it's televised. Like all these issues are in the media, it's all in your face now, and that's why it's the first time they've seen racial tension. Like they're not exposed to it enough in their daily life to understand what's going on, and like it's annoying to me because like I was also raised in the suburbs. Like I was in the same area where they were raised, but just because their skin tone was lighter, they got a different lifestyle.
I don't understand that like whole concept. Like I was having this argument on Facebook. It's the only time it wasn't so much of an argument. It was like a friend from high school saying like, you can have Black Pride Month, you can have Mexican Pride Month, right? Or you can have like LGBTQ WXY or Z month, Pride, right? But why can't you have like White Pride Month? And like I was trying to explain to a white person who like they've been here for generations, right? So they don't really have like a grasp of like what culture they really are from. Obviously they're from some sort of European background, right? But they've been here for so long where like everything gets so mixed and mangled, and it's just bound to happen. I'm sure that's what our grandchildren are going to be like, right? And I was trying to explain to her that like black people literally had their culture taken away, right?
There's no way I could find out where in Africa. Like, I don't think there's lineage unless like one of my ancestors was not a slave and came. Some of my ancestors literally came from Africa free, which I doubt, but there's no way I can trace back my lineage because there's literally a part where you kidnap a bunch of people, take them here, and then treat them like shit, and then slaughter them, basically do whatever you want with this race of people that you feel is inferior because they look different, but you know nothing about.
I think I don't understand that, being a Latino myself, because like heritage is totally different from nationalism. Like you can say you're whatever heritage you are, right?
Yeah.
But like you can have pride in whatever. And as a white person in America, I feel like you have a sense of pride just walking out of the street every morning.
But it's like, can you have a sense of pride of just being white? Like, is that a thing? Like, black is different.
Apparently, white supremacy. That's what white supremacy is all about. Like,
yeah, but even then, they're like discriminating against Jews who are white as well, right? Like, black is one thing because it's like black culture is American, African American culture in America that came out throughout years of like having your whole history forgotten.
But I don't understand, like, so we have our backgrounds, right? But Americans, like, why can't you just be American? Like, I've never understood that. Like, you're German American, you're Irish American, like.
I think it's because I think it stems back to like how you were saying, like in Mexico, you can be Chinese Mexican, Black Mexican, Brown Mexican, whatever. You're Mexican, right?
You're Mexican overall. That's the thing.
It's the same. Like at my gym, every single person I talked to was from like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan. They're like, when it was the Soviets, you were a Soviet.
Yeah.
Nothing else. I feel like that's never been a thing in American culture, right? It's like the second you came here, are you a Protestant or are you a Catholic, right? Yeah. Oh, you're fucking Italian. You're like, what? Like even in like The Godfather, right? They're like, he's Italian. The olive oil, this. Like, first it was the Italians, and then like, oh, these are fucking Irishmen, right? Oh, like what's the old thing they say? Like Irish people just have a lot of kids, and like, they discriminated against the Irish for the same exact color, right? And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, now it's like segregation era. Now it's like we got a new enemy. I feel like America was never united in the sense that like Mexico or the Soviets were, right? Like we
Right.
could never get past these heritage and racial issues that like it's always been a thing. I don't think there's ever been a
Well,
time.
think about how America was essentially. First of all, we have Native Americans who were just here. They were living their lives, doing their thing. So then the Europeans come over, fake peace, and then slaughter them. So that's basically the foundation of America was starting on,
Conquest.
and then conquest. And
But
then
isn't
you
that
go
every
to
empire?
Africa, you get slaves, bring them back to do work for you,
Yeah.
and then build up whatever you want as the Europeans.
And
So-
why is it that like a country like Brazil, where Brazil was actually a country that got most of the slaves, so their population ended up being like 60 to 80% slaves and 10 to 20% like everyone else.
Yeah.
So then they're way more integrated as a culture than any other country because they have that huge heritage of African descent. And like, it's not just like, oh, you're white, you're brown, you're black. It's like everyone's a mix of everything. So they get along a little better than they do in the U.S. because like the black slaves were always a minority. They were always forced to be a minority.
Yeah, but I feel like if 60-80% of Brazil's population were black slaves, like African slaves, not
Yeah.
black, I feel like you can retain your culture better. Like, what percentage of like America was black slaves? I feel like
Even so, like their slaves were taken from different parts of Africa,
Yeah.
and like different tribes and everything. So even if you're both from Africa, from the same country, even you're different tribes, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
may not get together. So like
And
Yeah,
languages.
culturally wise,
it'd be different.
it could still like
Africa's
not work.
fucking
And I think
huge,
that's why America's what it is now, because there are too many cultures trying to fight for like not necessarily the main spot, but like a good spot.
Yeah.
Honestly, like when I was looking at that whole thing going on in Charlottesville, and like people were leaking out names, and some of them were right? Like some of them they identified the right people, some of them they didn't. When I saw someone they identified correctly, and their last name ended with a ski or a ska, like a Slavic descent from Poland, it's like, how are you knowing like your last name is Polish? Go to a place where they say that Jews will not replace us in waving the Nazi flag. How many Polish people died during World War II, right? It's just baffling that like real shit. How hard is it for like you to get your boys to come through your house for your birthday party?
Bruh, I don't even try.
Like,
I don't invite people.
It's
to my house,
so
dog.
difficult, dude. Like it's so difficult getting 20 of your boys in the same spot, right?
Yeah.
But how the fuck do you get 3,000 white men with tiki torches, right? This is the craziest fucking part.
Hatred.
Who's not afraid to go out publicly and say like, fuck blacks, fuck Jews, fuck
pure,
colors.
unadulterated hatred for that kind.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense because it's not like black people literally went, stole their family members, raped, killed them, enslaved them, and then did all this other shit to make them mad. They were just taught that these people are inferior
Yeah.
and you should not like that. They're trying to not be.
And
It's the only
That
reason.
Facebook invite group must have been massive.
Exactly. There had to have been some sort of like organization. You can't get 3,000 fucking people in the same spot.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not 3,000 people. Maybe it's just 50. Maybe it's 100. Maybe it's more. But that many people in the same spot with the same like chance and this, like, you gotta give them an applause, bro. That's complicated, dude. Like, that is not easy.
It's not. But that's the level of like how they feel about everything going on in America. Like they, as white supremacists, hate the culturally diverse nation that we're, because black people were up and coming, Hispanics, Latinos, Asians. Everyone was kind of making a name for themselves.
Yeah.
Except for white people who were kind of just the same. Like they were still at the same level. They're still up in the 1% and everything. But everyone else is creeping up and they don't like it. So they're trying to push everyone back down. And that kind of like hatred and wanting to keep themselves a certain amount above everyone else is, I feel like it's what makes people want to, go out and run a car through a shit ton of people and just
that's
But you know what I think is crazy? That like you see all these people in like these white wife beaters or like polos or whatever. The people at the front had the button ups, had suits. Like it's not the people in the lower strata at the front at these things.
There's doctors, there's jurors, there's engineers, there's businessmen,
leaders of the world. Like
there are people around you,
Yeah.
dude. That's fucking bizarre.
Like imagine seeing your child's pediatrician at one of these rallies.
Exactly.
As a minority, you're like, wow, like this person sees my child often, treats my child, gives my child medicine.
And you start thinking, are they giving them lesser care?
Like it's daunting to see how many people we need and trust on a daily basis as like a society are so against the majority of the people in the society.
Yeah. And like I still can't, like grasp my mind behind them like waving the Confederacy and the Nazi flag. Like you both lost the war, dude. What the fuck are you waving that flag for, bro? Like just take the L and go home. Like, look, the Confederacy, heritage, not hate, whatever, like bullshit excuse you want to use. Like the South wanted to leave the North because like they knew automation was taking over. They knew like their slave plantations weren't gonna keep up with like an industry, so they wanted to get the fuck out of there. Whatever other reasons like you think is there, and whatever other reasons were probably there, like slavery was a big issue behind it. Lincoln was a fucking racist, right? But that's beyond the point. The point was that like the Confederacy was pro-slavery for a reason. It's cheap. You don't have to upgrade what you have, and you can make good fucking money off it. And then we literally fought a war for this. Thousands of people died. And then the Nazi flag, bro. All right, what do you guys think about the whole fucking waving the flag around? I can't grasp my head around. I might be drunk.
I mean, the other thing is though, like you see these southern states, and they are still 150 years later-ish the poorest states.
Yeah.
Like they never prospered after the war, and it's only been in the past like 50 years, like you see Atlanta, Georgia coming up.
Yeah.
Like Florida has a few places because like the rich people are taking it over.
It's prospering because people are moving there because of how cheap it is.
Yeah.
When especially in the tech industry, like me knowing I can sell a product online and that it's cheaper living in Texas than it is like in Dallas or Houston than it is living in like San Francisco, and I only have to do something behind a computer. I can buy acres of land. Fuck yeah, that's why they're flourishing. Besides their oil fields and shit too.
But Texas isn't really. Texas is a whole nother thing. Texas is not a southern state.
You don't think so?
I have family that lives in Texas.
Consider it a southern state, but it's like a special case because of like.
Texas is its own fucking country.
Texas is its own country. Like, let's be honest.
It's crazier than the North. It's crazier than the South. Like, you can't talk about Texas being one or the other.
Texas is the Wild West, and you gotta respect it.
I don't know. Like, people I know in Texas come from all sides, so that's its own like melting pot.
Dude, every single one of every brown person I know is trying to move to Texas. Indian,
really
Afghan, Paki, just brown. Everybody's like, bro, I'm trying to move to Texas. I can get all this land. It's cheap. I can have guns.
Yeah.
When was the last time a brown person had guns in Philly? Not too long ago, man. I'm about to move to Texas too.
Brown people have guns in Philly. We're being completely honest.
It's not legal.
But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of what I want to say that's off track for what we started with. But a lot of America is we've started focusing more on profits and business tactics rather than the furthering of us as a nation as a whole.
So we are a capitalist society.
Very much so. And I think that's why a lot of the hatred is so easy. Because it's not like we're trying to move the country forward. We're just trying to get our own profits up as quickly as possible and as high as possible. So if it's easier to just cut out some middleman and it'll earn me an extra couple bucks, fuck that middleman. I don't need him. I'm taking the money.
But where does this stem from, right? Because like it was Roosevelt.
The conquest. Like the whole theory of conquest is we are one group of people and we're trying to get up.
So
that's what Europe did with America.
I mean, Roosevelt
and brought too many different groups with them who also want to get up.
Roosevelt was a Republican, FDR, and like he passed the whole highway bill. It was him who came up with the idea that like we're gonna eventually need basic universal income, right? Like this dude was kind of like, as much as like people want to say he's a warmonger or whatnot, like he was a great president and he had great ideas. And like the Republicans were at that time were at the forefront of like just civil liberties in general, right? I mean, I don't know how factual it is, but I'm pretty sure Roosevelt, like besides the basic income, it was also for the idea of like universal health care, you know? Like the Republicans were on the forefront of that. They were on the forefront of removing slavery. When did this like complete 180 happen where they're like fucking in Charlottesville raising the Nazi flag?
I mean,
that don't even make sense to me. Like, Nazis ain't got shit to do in America. Like,
yo, like we literally fought a war against them, dude. A fucking world war.
That was the thing I was talking to him earlier. Like, there's this podcast called The Dollop with Gareth Reynolds and Dave Allen. There's these two comedians, right? And they were talking about the whole history of Nazism infiltrating the U.S. consciousness. Because that wasn't just like one person coming here with like an idea. That was like situational awareness from Hitler throwing people into the U.S. to get that idea spread.
Yeah.
He wanted the U.S. to be infiltrated by Nazi idealism to support the war on his front. Like, this is not a new development. This has always been like a minority of a minority opinion, but that's just been festering in the background.
I mean, I feel like, have you guys ever seen it's that HBO Band of Brothers?
I haven't seen it.
I've heard of it.
You heard of it? Dude, there's this one part in Band of Brothers, right? I'm pretty sure it's like in the beginning episodes when they get into France and like they take over like a trench and there was Germans in there. And this one American soldier is talking to this German soldier who's from America, right? And he was like, my country was calling me. I had to go. The fatherland was calling. And like, it really makes you think about it because like, Band of Brothers is just a show. But how many Americans left America to go to Germany to fight?
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
A lot, dude. You know, like 1,000 is even a lot. That means 1,000 people got up, took their call of arms, and like honestly, I don't give a fuck if you said something like, I saw this on Facebook, and they said something along the lines like, you know, people picked up guns during like the Nazi era because they were German and they had to defend. Can you blame a soldier for following orders? Fuck yeah, you can. What the fuck does that mean? Like, if I'm gonna go to my man's house, kill his kids because like a lieutenant told me to, or a staff sergeant, I'm just like, you can't get out of like taking responsibility for your actions.
Just because someone told you to.
Exactly, just because somebody fucking told you to.
The way war is now, though, it's like a different mindset. Because, like, you're not going in and gutting your friends' children.
Yeah.
Like, you're going in a drone and shooting them from 1,000 miles away. Like, there's no, like, empathy in the war anymore. There's no human mindset. There's just kill to kill.
Yeah.
And that's literally what everybody, like, those protesters in Charlottesville, on, like, the super far left, right side, that's, like, their point of view is that, like, they're under attack. From who? I have no fucking idea. Because they said during Obama's, like, administration, they're going to take away the guns. They didn't take away the guns. Guns were, like, selling fucking as much as they could. Like, I don't know who is attacked. Like, minorities make up what percent of America?
They actually make up a good percentage. I think it's like
minorities who aren't, like, first-generation citizens. Like, blacks aside, who've been here for hundreds of years, right? Everybody else, what percentage do we make?
But that's the other thing. Like, we have Mexicans here, we have Chinese people here, we have everyone from across the world have been here for more than 2 generations.
But even then, that's not a huge percentage.
It's
not a big
That's still 25 to 30%.
It's a good percentage when you think about, like, this hatred. Like, what I was hearing...
and it's not like it's concentrated. Like, it's not like there's a solid 30% of second-generation minorities only on the East Coast. Like, it's literally throughout the coastal areas,
and the major
East
cities.
and West Coast,
And major cities is where we
and
are.
then everything inside is white.
Very
That's what I heard. Like, this, I think it was Radio Lab or an NPR podcast I was listening. They're talking about the reason Republicans are winning the House and the Senate right now, the reason Republicans are winning all the local elections is because minorities aren't spreading out.
We're
Yeah.
not diffusing it to the rest of the population.
Those electoral votes, dude, like, that's what matters, the electoral votes. How many, like, colored people are representing, like, Charlottesville? Or, like, Virginia. Not Charlottesville, but Virginia, right? Not too many. How about Minnesota? Or, like, Tennessee? It's not too many. I mean, it's very hard convincing me to move there to begin with as a colored person.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we want to
It's
live
cold as
around.
shit up there, dog. I don't know. Fucking Minnesota.
Yeah, like,
We want to live around like good food, more liberal ideas, and like good transit systems.
And that's only on the coastal areas.
Coastal areas and big cities.
Immigrants come from overseas, hit the coastal areas, and only diffuse so far into the nation. And it's like, well, why go further in where I know they don't like me when I can just stay slightly on the coast and be fine?
And the
That's true.
idealism goes as far as to like not even realize when you have an amongst you. Like farmers all across the southern U.S. will be hating on immigrants or Mexicans or whoever they want, but then when like
They need somebody to
the
plow their
crop
fields.
season comes, like summer comes, they need these harvesters at cheap wages. They're screaming about how, why the fuck did you take my poor labor away?
Yeah.
Like that was cheap, easy money. In California, a big reason they want more immigrants, they're just pushing for more and more people to come into California, is because they have all these farmers that realize they need this population of people to come every summer and do the work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Like when they passed more laws in the southern border states saying that it would be harder for immigrants to come into the country, that just affected the farmers and people that were making money over there. The people that wanted immigrants were getting affected.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like, how many farmers do you think were at Charlottesville? How many farmers do you think, like, in like the deep south are like repping the Confederacy flag? And how many farmers?
Max.
Yeah, like how many fucking farmers do you think have like immigrant workers that they're paying shit money?
But that will take it because they
They'll
need
take
it.
They need it, right? This is literally like reverse Game. This is like Game of Thrones in the sense that like the Reach, the Tyrells, right? They're like, we don't want immigrants coming in because like, do you watch Game of Thrones?
I've seen it first season.
Do you watch Game of Thrones?
I understand where you're going.
Yeah, they're
Continue.
like they make all the fucking food and they don't want the crafty there. That's literally what it is. It's just like I agree with Trump on the basis that like illegal immigration is a problem. It is a problem.
But it's not though.
But it is.
In the
It's not as big of a problem.
It's not as big.
It's not.
That's
It
true. It's
shouldn't
not
be
as big.
forced an issue because the biggest component of like illegal immigration are people coming here legally and then their visa's expiring or something.
And they're stuck.
Like the top people coming here, top percentage of people are coming here on planes.
Yeah.
Like,
H-1B.
why are we building a border wall if people are coming here on planes?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to make it so that like the process of getting in here and getting vetted out is quicker and safer, right? Like, if you ever worked, like I've worked with the city, everything is fucking slow. It's abysmal. It's literally like smashing your head with a hammer trying to get anything, right? Like, I'm sure if the government was like, yo, we gotta contract that, we'll get a private company to fix this, our immigration problem would be fixed, dude. Like, if we can make the process of getting illegals who are working, paying taxes, not committing crime, getting them a visa, getting them any type of like permanent residency, we would solve a lot of problems. Because then at that point, it's like, look, whether or not you're here legal or illegally, you applied for permanent residency, now they have to pay you a fair wage, and now they have to pay taxes. My biggest fucking problem is that, like, you think these companies are paying taxes on their illegal workers?
Fuck no.
Fuck no, dude.
Yeah.
Like, the farming industry is one of the most heavily subsidized besides, like, I'm guessing,
No, farming is hugely subsidized.
yeah, hugely
Like
subsidized.
no other country subsidizes farming as much as the U.S. does.
Because we got the breadbasket. We got the fucking breadbasket, dude. And, like, places were, like, close to Mexico, how much are they, like, producing? They're producing metric shit tons of food and just shipping it out, right? But how much taxes are they paying? Who knows? They're not gonna tell us. We don't even know how much our president paid taxes. Dude put out like his 2012 taxes. What the fuck am I gonna do with taxes from 6 years ago? What does that have to do with anything, bro?
I feel like Trump schemed the
System.
he didn't even scheme the system. He schemed the majority of white America thinking that he was going to make everything that they wanted come true when he was using them to get into office and then to plan his own agenda. He was still going to cater to some of their needs because
He has to.
he's a man of his word.
Yeah.
As he so calls himself, but he's not for them. Like, he may share some of their ideals, but he's not for him. He's for himself, and he's the betterment of his family. He's trying to create a legacy.
Can we talk about his response to this whole event.
Oh god.
That's so fucking
Those
funny.
48 hours though, huh?
That's so fucking funny because like
Nigga was on the shitter just thinking like, how am I really gonna try and like spin this?
He's like, how can I fuck this up more than it's already fucked up? Like, it's so. I'm assuming it must be the most difficult thing in the world to be like, yo, these people who are literally raising Nazi flags. You can't interpret it any other way, right? Like, they're not raising the flag of peace in India, right? Literally Nazi fucking insignias. He's like, yeah, they're kind of bad, but bro, like, you remember, like, Antifa? They were pretty bad, too. Was there 3,000 people in that shit group Antifa, like, running around?
That was the easiest thing to get right, and he messed it up.
How do you mess that up? Like, how do you fuck that up? I don't understand it, dude. You're the president. You have one job.
Say, this is bad, it needs to stop. That's all you had to say.
Yeah, yo, you really could have just been like, yo, bro, this shit in Charlottesville, if you got the Confederacy or the Antifa or like the Nazi flag, I'm not down with that. That's bad. That's a no-no. Have a nice day. God bless America. That's it. You didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Bro, I feel like Russia fucking watched Trump. Like, he's just, it doesn't seem like Trump is trying to keep himself. Like, he's kind of having fun with it rather than trying to retain whatever he's doing.
Does it seem to anyone else like he doesn't? Like the first 100 days, like he was just tweeting new crazy stuff every day, and now it's like
fucking second he was tweeting.
we're expecting something, and it's like
Silence, yeah.
silent.
I mean, like, the whole, like, him coming out and comparing people with Nazi flags and Confederacy flags with Tiki Torches, and, like, bro, how many of them were fucking armed? They were armed to the teeth with fucking
I
ARs.
saw a video. It was about like 17, 18 people within the like 40-second video on Twitter carrying ARs, rifles, like
Exactly, dude.
shotguns, just walking through the streets, fully armed. Like it looked like they were going. They
To
were
war.
small militia
Yeah.
for a peaceful protest. They called it. Like there's no reason for this type of intimidation. Like if you're gonna protest peacefully. Say what you have to say and then leave. Like you don't have to protest so violently.
I understand, like, I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment, but if there's a rally for the Taliban or ISIS, I'm not picking up my daddy's AR and going out there being like, yo, I gotta represent freedom of speech, right? Like, what did the Nazis, like, what was their main push? Eugenics, a different order, like, that Aryan race, and it's like, how the fuck do you call yourself an American, blast yourself with the Second Amendment, and go out with guns like that, right? Like, as bad as Antifa was, they were just people, they were just fucking losers, dickheads, and like ski masks, beating up people they so-called fascists. They were so-called fascists.
What's
Like the anti-fascist bullshit movement in like California, which, and like, if you go on the Donald on Reddit, they're like, this was products of George Soros. Like,
what?
like, the Hillary Clinton Foundation did this.
That's crazy.
Like, I don't know too many Democrats who are like, Antifa's doing the right thing. I think we can all agree that freedom of speech is very important. Like, we can all agree on that, right? But we all agree that, like, if the country you live in bled, millions of people, thousands of people of your own kind just died fighting a group of people who are literally like, let's fucking take up all these Slavs
They're
and
literally
Gypsies and
Hitler.
Jews.
They're literally Hitler.
Literally Hitler, bro. Like, that's
I think
crazy.
you protect literally Hitler.
Like, bro, that's nuts. Like, you can make a case for Stalin, right? It's like, oh, you made a strong...
No, what are you talking about?
You can make a case for
Like, he made a stronger Soviet Russia. But Hitler? Dude, what the fuck is going on?
Make a case for
I'm totally chosen. What the fuck is going on in the South, dude? And you know damn well, there would not be that type of fucking rally in Philly.
It's too cultural. Like Philly is too open-minded. It's too like
Maybe in Lancaster they have that shit. They're all
too
fucking
liberal.
Germans.
Yeah, like anywhere, I feel like there's a certain type of diversity scale. I guess I'm gonna call it scale. Where if it's a certain amount of non-white people, then it's gonna be slightly more liberal than any other place with usually more white people. Because not to say that all white people are conservatives or anything like that, but in in rural Pennsylvania and places like that, you get mainly conservatives, you get mainly Republicans. You're not gonna find the type of diverse outlook type of crowd that you get in Philly, where you have a major arts industry, you have a pretty big LGBT community, like all of these accepting groups. They're gonna, twist the tide from conservative to liberal really easily.
Well, that's the idea, right? Is that like people who can connect with different races and different ideas flourish more. Like we were talking about, like the Romans. Why did the Romans do so well, right? They're literally like right there in fucking. Down to them is North Africa, where like on the east coast of Africa, it's so much different than the west coast of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
To the right of them, you got the Ottomans and the Persians. To the north, you got like the Germans and the Polish, and like I guess at that time it would just be like Germanic tribe. In the north, you got the Gauls. It's like when you're around people that are just different, and you can spread ideas, like your whole view on the world changes.
Oh, that's what America was supposed to be.
Supposed to be, right? Like that's what our founding fathers wanted, probably.
Oh, white people fucked it up.
I wouldn't say white people.
Yeah, no.
That was a stretch, but I'm saying
Southern, like I guess.
No, not even Southern. So I think a big thing is just not even those conservative versus liberal ideas. It's just that like
self-preservation.
Yeah, the idea that you need to be different than the person you don't like.
Yeah.
Like this dichotomy of ideas is not good for America as a whole. Like it's not white people versus brown people, or like it's not North versus South anymore. It's just a dichotomy of ideas that's not like the facts aren't diffusing anymore.
Well, I mean, like I think it was Bill Maher.
No one wants them because it's easier to keep the dichotomy as simple as possible for the people who want to say, oh, I have a reason to not like this person because of A, B, and C. Like, if you diffuse the facts, then you kind of have to like appreciate their side of the point. But there are people stubborn enough to say no, like that's not the real issue. Like, they rather keep it as simple as possible so that they have that pure dichotomy because people feed off of it.
Businesses.
Yeah.
I was talking to a Trump voter the other day, and like, she was I was telling her about like the Russia situation and how like this is not good for international relations or a bunch of other stuff, and she didn't even know about it. Like her media was just so consumed on the fact that he didn't do anything wrong, or like he's a good president. Like the ideas are not moving over. Like if you're on Facebook, right, their whole algorithm is keeping you to the ideas that you like, to the ideas that you go for. If you're watching the like TV media, whatever you're gonna watch, whatever channels you're favorited to, are gonna be super focused on your interests. So you're not gonna look at the other side at all.
So playing devil's advocate, right? Like I'm pretty sure everybody in like Virginia right now, far right protests, they don't see like Trump doing anything wrong in his presidency.
They don't see anything that he's like anything the Democrats or like the liberals are pointing to that is actually legal, actually wrong, actually immoral. They're not seeing in whatever news they're seeing, or the news they're seeing is saying that it doesn't exist.
Do you think the Democrats were the same way for like Obama?
I mean, I think it's becoming more evident the disparity between the news channel.
Because I feel like on a global stance, right?
Yeah.
Obama fucked up on like issues regarding the Middle East, on how to handle that situation. I mean, he really pushed for drone strikes, which are like, I think it's like 90% of drone strikes just don't hit the target.
Yeah.
Like the amount, like it was, I think it was under Obama's or like presidency that like the hospitals where like the French doctors, the Doctors Without Borders, got bombed, right? Like the amount, like the amount of like, that's the CIA. CIA operates outside of America, and you're hoping that an organization where there's like billions of dollars funded into it would realize like, yo, this place, this hospital where like you can easily tell that there's white guys that are blonde and like that are doctors, you might not want to bomb it, like you still did, right? So like my question is like, were the Democrats, like the way those Charlottesville protesters are for Trump, were the Democrats the same way for Obama?
I think it's
a little different.
I want to say that it's kind of the same, but what I feel like happens is when you're supporting your president, you know they have their backfall, their downfalls, right? And for Obama, that was the Middle East, but he did so much for America in terms of the healthcare situation, unemployment, minimum wage. He made America easier to live in, ever so slightly, right? He may have messed up international relations, but in terms of doing what you can for your country, he did well, and I think that's what the Democrats try to push on everyone to kind of
Also,
keep the
Americans
spotlight.
don't care about international relations.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Fuck about overseas.
But okay, the other thing is what I was talking
Other
about,
than
Facebook and news media. Like a lot of these things, the algorithms have gotten better. The way people are viewing things, they know what to look out for now. Like it's all become so, like again, that dichotomy, because it's just easier to put yourself in that little bubble of your opinions and your ideas fueling yourself.
And I also want to say that so little of America is getting all the facts because of this media dichotomy. Most of the time, the media is never gonna give you 100% the truth. They're always gonna add a slight twist to cater to whoever they want their audience.
Like whoever it's gonna sell to.
Whoever it's gonna sell to. So they're gonna make it juicy. They're gonna make it juicy for whoever they're trying to sell it to. That way, let's say they get Facebook ads saying, "Oh, Obama did this international thing," when the next day,
never believe that Obama.
the next day,
He's black.
he fucking
That's literally all
Oh my God!
it is, dude.
I never knew.
the next day he passes another bill for unemployment or healthcare or some shit. They're not going to show you that because they know that they're going to get more traffic and more money if they post the bad thing about the international.
It's a
relations.
business, and like at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to is like businesses and how much money they can make off twisting a story, right? Because like let's be honest, the news media like that we listen to, that we hear, they're not the most honest people out there. They twist shit. Like Washington Post is a fucking joke. Huffington Post is a fucking joke. And it's very hard finding the truth in anything, right? It's just difficult. It's just what it is at the end of the day.
I mean, that's the thing that like I've started learning now. Like, I don't rely on one source anymore. I try going all over the like liberal, conservative, that whole spectrum, just because like my idea might be good at its face value, but then I look at it from a different person's perspective, and I see the downfall of my ideas and the strengths that I could go to a different end.
Yeah.
People also consider other people's opinions too much.
Yo, that's what I was gonna say.
Like, no lie, I was watching Boruto the other day, right?
What'd you say?
I was watching the Naruto spinoff.
I thought you said Boruto. I was like, the fuck are you watching?
It is Boruto.
Black Naruto.
But basically, he was like, the reason people gravitate to him is because he doesn't listen. He doesn't let other people's opinions affect what he's going to decisions that he makes. Like he'll take them all. He'll sit there and listen to them, but he's gonna make up his own mind about everything. That's why people gravitate toward him, because they know he's not gonna flip flop on anything or the other thing. He's not a fake nigga. Like
Exactly.
he's gonna do whatever he can to make sure his idea is heard, and if he thinks it's the right decision, he's gonna make it.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people have trouble with in terms of like media wise. Like they'll hear one source, they'll hear another source, and they'll be like, oh, I don't know what to think, when they're not, trying to process the information for themselves to come up with an opinion.
The real shit, if you're flying the like Confederacy and Nazi flag, I'm throwing hands. Like, there's no other way to go on about it, dude. Like, I don't care.
I just made a good ass point, and you just gonna sit there and go, yo, if I see this shit, I'm knocking you off.
See, that's the thing, right? Like, I feel like Facebook and social media made it to where, like, stupid ass people can say whatever the fuck they want without getting afraid, without having the fear of getting decked. Like, yo, it's one thing to be like, yo, I really disagree with Trump's, like, health bill. Here's, like, 7 reasons why. And I'd be like, you know what? We might disagree on this, but I respect the fact that you took time out of your day, made a clear and concise argument, and we argued about this. I respect that. But bro, if you're flying the fucking Nazi flag, like, you're a dickhead. We got a mix right there. It's a wrap. Like, I feel like as an American, it's my duty, and I'm sure when like we go to war with North Korea, if I see any motherfuckers in Charlottesville flying the North Korea flag, I'm throwing hands down there too, bro. I'm driving down there right now. Like, it's just it's stupid people, dude. When stupid people can say whatever the fuck they want, people start listening.
It's not even like, if you can, in my opinion, you can say what you want as long as you have an understandable tie to whatever you're saying.
And
So like, if you're saying, if you could say you can say whatever you want as long as you can back it up with a reason that makes sense for who you are and the situation you're in, then that's okay. But if you're just gonna say some shit that don't make no sense, no type of sources, no type of backup for that reason, and you're gonna stick with it, you're probably gonna get punched in the face for that.
Bro, because it's literally treason. It's literally treason. Like, we went to war with the Confederacy because of treason.
Mhm. And coming back to what you said, like, I don't care if you have sources for your opinion, but if you can tell me why you think of that, like, any reasoning behind that logic, I will try to reason it out with you. But if you're
I will try to understand why you're a stupid dickhead.
come on, though.
I'm just too Philly for this shit, dude.
Like, I can have a nice debate. Like, if you're hitting me with facts that make sense and are viable for whatever the fuck we're talking about, then I'm gonna respect your counter arguments, whatever I say. But if you're just gonna say no, you're wrong because this, and this,
No, you're
and then
wrong
you
and run
don't-
me over.
yeah, like no, you're wrong. Like
Oh, that's so
that's
messed
not
up.
how it is. That's not an acceptable response. Yeah, if you we'll keep fighting words, especially if it's something that's heated. Civil liberties and just being able to walk in the street
Jews
without
will
passing
not replace
people
us.
with ARs and shit.
Dude, I go to like an all Jewish gym, and I'm brown, so like you can tell that it's just a little weird. But like the nicest people I've ever met, right? And my man Mitch came up to me and he's like, bro, CNN's been telling me this and Jews will not replace us, bro. What's going on, bro? And I'm like, how am I gonna try to like explain to a white guy with blue eyes and blonde hair that's Jewish what another white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes is saying Jews will not replace us? How the fuck do you explain that, right?
You don't.
You
Yeah.
can't. You can't explain.
You also
Stupidity.
shouldn't have to support people. Like, you should acknowledge that they exist, just like we're acknowledging right now that it's not right what they did in Charlottesville. It's not.
It's not right for Trump to just not say anything concrete about it.
Yeah, right. You don't have to agree with them, that party. You just have to.
5 things that Trump has said that have been concrete.
Ooh, many parties involved.
Yeah. Both sides.
Dude, like, what?
And he used the word us. He used the word us.
Who is us?
Who the
Like,
fuck is
no
us?
No one knows.
Because right now, I don't care. Like, I'm pretty sure there's probably thousands of Republicans along with thousands of Democrats protesting against people waving the fucking Nazi flag.
Yeah, because actually, fuck that.
Fuck
Both
that.
sides are against the hatred of the killing of multiple people. Both sides do not agree with that. But there's a minority of a minority growing in this country.
But even then, dude, like, getting 3,000 people to publicly come out, I feel like there's probably a lot more than 3,000 people supporting that aren't, right?
Definitely.
Like, especially just in Charlottesville. Like, getting 3,000 people alone with Tiki that just baffles my mind. They went to fucking Home Depot, bought some Citronella
Bought some
Tiki Torches.
wood, yeah, just that shit.
Yeah, like, that's just so bizarre. Like,
You know whose reaction was my favorite in this whole situation? Tiki Torches. They had a whole press release on how they did not support the Nazi Party or any of the stuff going on in Charlottesville. Like, Tiki Torches did more for the situation than Donald Trump, our president.
well, there's a lot of people that have been on like the business side of Donald Trump's president, like the people he had close around him, that were like businessmen. There was a few that pulled out, right? There was one of the I forgot the guy who it was who pulled out. But he pulled out. He's like, look, like you can't say like, yo, I know Nazi people are bad, but like those Polish people were really stepping up on my court, bro. Them Slavs were holding up. You know, I had to fucking go ahead with them gas chambers, cause like you can't do that, bro. You can't be like, yeah, well, you know, like the anti-fascists, they're pretty violent. They were going against that, but like the people waving the Nazi flags, they got attacked first. So
Yeah.
that's not.
Yeah.
All right. Quick side note to change the subject because it's coming towards the end. I want to hear large medium's perspective on
What's up?
I'm looking to buy a new car.
This is.
So like, I dipped.
Okay.
I went out. I'm like, yo, I'm in college. Let me be financially like smart and buy an Accord. Right? I'm brown. You either get a Camry or you get an Accord. Nothing less. You get a Corolla. You kind of look at like you're not hot shit
got a
anymore. You're not hot shit as a
Hold
brown
on, I
man.
think you can see it out the window.
Oh, you parked here?
Yeah.
Oh, is it the blue one?
Nah, it's this
The red one?
the red joint right there under the
Yo, my boy got a Corolla. He's out. That's crazy.
Bro, that shit's like that joint's on his deathbed. I don't think I got maybe 2 years tops
Really?
before that joint.
How many miles is that?
I think
2.
like 110,000.
Man, if you get past 100,000 miles on your car, that's a good car. So we went and I was like, yo, let me get this this Accord LE or EX, whatever. Leather seats, GPS, that's what I'm looking for. Leather seats, it's an easy cleanup. If you know what I'm saying.
Gross,
GPS, because I always get fucking lost no matter where I go. And I came out and I was like, me and my pops, and we're like, yo, this BMW and this Mercedes is looking nice as shit, cousin.
Do it. It's a
I'm-
chop, dog.
I'm
Fucking
about to do it.
It's a fucking trap. You're
Cause like
stupid
it's not even that like it's a trap in terms of money wise. It's just you're gonna feel too good in
Yeah.
that car to drive the way you should.
Yo, what good driver do you know
That's-
that has a
Like, if you're in this fucking
BMW?
sports car, you're gonna drive like you're in a fucking
Bro,
sports
it's
car.
so low to the ground that like, and there's no shake. You don't realize you're doing like 130.
Yeah.
It just feels so good, dude.
That's
It's like the first time
that's
you
what
busted
gets
a
you.
nut. Like the first time driving in German is the first time busting a fucking nut, bro. I was driving the C300. I was cruising, dude. I never felt more luxurious in my life. You know what I was picturing? Deadass. This was all I was picturing. Where I was like, yo, I'm about to drive up to school. Make sure my like top's down. Looking to my left. Looking to my right. Just drive. I'm good. I was like, I'm only buying this car to style on these haters.
No,
That's it.
fuck you. You're dumb as shit.
That's the trick. Like you have to. Yeah, the reason you get a car is to get from point A to point B, and if you can't fuck at home, to fuck in the car. That's the only reason you should.
That's
be
the
thinking
truth,
about
bro.
Get in the car.
That's the truth.
Why are you trying to style on these haters? These haters got
I
Maseratis
drove-
and shit.
I drove a Corolla too many years in my life. I can't do it anymore.
Like, you can't style on them in a university. These
Yeah.
fuckers got like
Not in the
Maserati.
city.
Not in the city, dude. These kids are driving G-Wagons and
Yeah, you like exactly.
it's a whole different
Isn't
ball.
there a guy out front who like parks his Mustang or his Porsche out front?
Yeah.
For no reason. Like
No
I was
reason.
parked behind him once, and I just wanted to hit his car. I was so mad.
Dude, honestly, if I had like a G-Wagon or a Maserati, I'd just do circles around
I
the
worked
school.
on mine.
It's hard finding anybody to fix it.
My mom
It
loves
just wasn't
Maseratis.
nice.
That's the
I'm
thing.
trying to. Teslas are the.
Teslas are so sexy.
I drove past a Tesla dealership once. I
Yeah.
was like, wow,
Fast.
everyone in that, every car knows.
They're so
The
sleek.
only car I know every single thing about is a Tesla.
Dude, I think
Like, I don't know nothing about cars except Teslas.
I'm for sure after I graduate, get a good job and everything, I'm definitely buying a Model S, Model 3 or whatever.
Model Y.
I haven't seen that, but like it starts at what 35?
No.
3. The commercial line.
Oh, the commercial line. The commercial line came out already.
It's coming out. You can my
Yeah, it's coming out. That's what.
dude, I know people in like my friend car and everything. They already pre-ordered that shit. They put their down payment on and everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you have to put a down payment on this car that didn't
Yeah.
come out yet.
But honestly, it's like let's be honest. Elon Musk is the only good thing going for America. Like
He's not even American. He's South African.
besides like Pornhub and the NBA, what else is going for America? Not our fucking president.
The NBA is barely good, man.
Once that TV deal goes out, like Elon Musk is literally like he's our future dude because he's like, look, we gotta travel outside the world, right? And like we gotta think about AI.
Word. If he's Lex Luthor though, who's gonna be our Superman?
I don't care if he's Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is not bad for the public.
That's true, actually.
Yeah. Lex Luthor cares about the public because the only person that can go against the public is a fucking god.
So is
Superman.
Trump our Superman?
Fuck, man. Why would you even think about that? Like,
Or what do they call him? God Emperor? God Emperor.
I don't even
Trump.
go on the Donald. They made it a private group now. You can't even look
I'm
it
on
up.
it.
You're on it?
Yo,
What
you're
the
in God Emperor.
You are a spy. You are a spy for that
It's
stuff.
so funny, dude. Like when they like literally there was a thread on Donna that got a bunch of views. They're like the people who are protesting. One thread was like they're victims. They got attacked by the left. And the other thread is like they're hired by George Soros and like the Clinton Foundation to do this shit. I was like, that's fucking crazy, man. But like back to Elon Musk, like
Wait, back to your car. Don't get it.
I'm gonna get it, dude.
No, we both said don't get it.
I'm literally driving all of us
If
the
you
first day to
could
get it.
get a luxury car, dog, I'd say get out.
Dude,
Ooh.
Audis retain their value so well,
Audi.
bro.
Them Jones are reliable.
Dude, I was in Europe, and it's literally like Audi, Benz, and then Mercedes. Or like Audi, Benz, Mercedes, tie to tie, right?
Yeah.
But over here, Audis retain their values so well. So
Because we don't
damn.
know what the fuck to do with that shit. Cheap and pristine. Like, we don't know how to use it.
It's so hard fixing that fucker up, too. I'm gonna do it, yo. YOLO.
Audi, fuck you.
If I can find like an Audi A6 turbo, V6, VTEC, twin turbo, intake,
He's about to spend like his college money on his Audi.
0 cylinders. I'm about to spend all my money on this. Just a style. I'm gonna build my credit up. But back to fucking Elon Musk, because that's really important. AI, dude. Like, remember how we were just talking about Facebook and how they can literally change their newsfeed to pander to what you're Googling?
Yeah.
Like, Elon Musk himself says, like, the biggest threat to humanity right now is AI. How do you guys feel about that?
Because the thing about AI, in my opinion, is that you can't market it. It has to be strictly for not necessarily government use, but it has to have a singular purpose.
But I feel like that's the problem, right? Is that it's doing everything opposite of singular use, right? Like, take for example, you're IT, right? And I'm engineering. We both work with different softwares, like computing softwares, right? And so, like, when the general public hears AI, they just think of like computers and shit, right? How easy is it making a MATLAB code to say like to use if functions, like if user puts my name is blah 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 this,
Then writes, my name is whatever.
yeah, exactly, right? Like
Yeah.
if Hernando Cortez or if Julius Caesar or if Miguel Castro.
Let him cut all this shit, yo.
Like, back to the thing, like, right, like, the idea is that, like, Facebook right now can pander to you and
Yeah.
what you view.
Mhm.
And they know exactly what you're viewing, and they can put out ads to that, right? That means that, on the other hand, they're literally hiding things that they don't think you want to see.
Yeah.
How dangerous is that? How dangerous is it that, like, large medium can't see what it doesn't, not necessarily what you don't want to see, just what you're not searching, right? Like, isn't that a little frightening? Like, I feel
That's
like
how the corporations are so. That's why they're still so high in the media, because Facebook literally gets all of this information from us, cuts it into a third, and only shows us a third of what they think we
Yeah.
want to see. And they're getting that. They're taking that 2/3 of other information and using it to basically build up on their program to gather more information. That's
Yo.
what all Facebook
You ever-
is a database.
you ever Google some nasty shit? Like,
Never.
lube,
How nasty.
like lube or like that, like Cialis or some shit like that, like Viagra, and it comes up on your like newsfeed. I can't be the only one, bro.
I know what you're talking about.
Like you look
I
up
don't
like
look at ads that much.
Like, you
I
look
know
at-
that's a thing. Yeah.
like you look up like Adidas like shoes because they're pretty hot right now, right? In track pants.
Are you
They
the
pop up.
also one having like a shit's an ad blocker?
I have that.
I haven't seen an ad in years.
So like, take your ad blocker off for 5 minutes. You'll see exactly how much they
Bro,
take
they
from
like if you search up like Nintendo system, anything like video game, you'll start getting more ads catered to video games and Nintendo systems and things like that. Like they literally, whatever you search up, they say, "Oh, do you want this? Okay," and then they throw it at you at different places where you don't really notice them, and that's the dangerous part.
So I was in the farm today, right? And then so I was in the farm today, right? And you start to realize all the stuff we're giving up as being specialists. Like you're an IT, you're an engineer, but over there in the farm, like they have to like literally know how to redo a tractor. They have to know how to plant crops. They have to know how to take care of chicks and shit.
Farming is not easy.
Like that really gives you a general knowledge and general interest in the world, right?
Yeah.
But then we have social media now making us into special interests, right?
That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, business nowadays is basically, let me just get the people who know how to do what I need, get them together, have them do it, and then that's it. Rather than getting the skill set for yourself or getting someone who knows all of the skill set to do it, rather than just picking up, oh, I need this, that person, rather than getting one person to know.
Yeah.
Like, it's also becoming a problem in academia where you have too many qualifications. Like, you have a master's or something. Too many qualifications to be a secretary, but too little qualifications to teach.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? We got one too many people that can design a bridge, but can't fucking build it. They don't know how to fucking mix concrete. Too many specialists, not enough hands.
Nigga, it's just powder and water. Like,
No,
it's
it's
not powder.
It gets so much more concrete, yeah.
My dad does that shit for a living.
Exactly. And that's the thing, right? It's like academia is pushing us into specialists, and that is something we'll talk about on the next episode of Three Colored Dudes.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Keep busting nuts.
Thanks.
All right, what do I press?
All right, thanks for listening to Three Colored Dudes. Tell your friends about us. We're on iTunes and the whole shebang. You can email us at threecoloreddudes@gmail.com, and commenting on iTunes really helps us out. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.